Today's video is about how at the age of 30, I decided to get into HR because of racism. Hi, my name is Ian Hopfe, and I'm an HR consultant. When I was younger, I came across all kinds of bad bosses. And at that time, at the age of 30, when I was pivoting to HR, I thought the main reason was just that I had bad bosses. I worked my butt off, giving an honest 8 hours every day at these jobs. And I never considered myself to be lazy or not caring at this point. Some jobs you're on your feet for the whole shift basically. And other jobs was just a lot of concentrating and trying to organize documents in a file room setting. Even though I worked very hard, I was still not doing good enough. And I found this very baffling. And when you're in your 20s, working as hard as you can, it's very, very disheartening, and I became burnt out. You know, how can you be burnt out in your 20s? The job I had, I started taking every sick day I could. I had the dreaded Mondays, like the Sunday dread you get. You just absolutely don't want to go into work the next day. These sorts of things. In hindsight, I think there might have been some depression in there because I was working so hard and not achieving my work goal, not achieving the simple things. I didn't see my coworkers getting treated like I was. I saw them working the same or less than I was, and yet there was no indication that they were getting reprimanded or having those special little meetings, getting put on the PIP, the performance improvement plan. Yet I was. Every time I would try to take a lateral move or something like that, I came up against issues. I found out that in certain jobs, the last person who had my role had additional support. Somebody would help them, but I was doing it all by myself, and that made me look bad. Nobody came to me and said, "Hey Ian, I see you're struggling. The last person here, I helped them." Nobody said that. Nobody came to me. I worked hard. In hindsight, my bad bosses may have been racist, because on my journey through my 30s and now into my 40s, I finally come to some understanding of the world. I'm very grateful that I decided to get into HR, because I feel like that's the place I need to be to fix these issues for other people like me. Returning to school as an adult was hard. There was a big age difference in a lot of the students. It's very strange when I'm 30 taking a class where everyone else is, late teens or early 20s. There was a saving grace. I was able to take night classes to get my degree, and that actually meant that there was more adults. So it wasn't the standard university classes. I would say 50 to 75% of the students were older, late 20s, early 30s, like me. And during this whole time, I was working full time. So that worked out. I would be at my job that was soul crushing and just killing me, forcing me to quiet quit before it even became a thing. And it took me 6 years to get my 4-year degree. I am proud of that. The hard work I put into that, was I an A+ student? Far from it. But I got it done. And I'm proud of that. I did get my first HR related job about a year before graduating. So I still had almost a year of classes left. And I got into a role where I was doing HR things. It really felt like a win. I got that role because of networking. And that's something that in the HR world, the instructors, they really stress you should get out and network. So I was doing that, and that helped me, and that was a win, because this person who hired me got to know me before I was their employee. Although HR is challenging, if you're honest, you must fight against ownership or management to implement good things for employees. It's a constant fight, and when you get out there in the real world, the business owners and the managers think something that's completely different than what you were taught with your HR education. And that's where in some of my videos you'll hear me say the point is to have happy employees, because I'm bringing this education out and I'm saying I'm taking a stand. I want happy employees because I want the organization to succeed. Now, even with my early success in the HR industry, I still found it hard to find new opportunities in advancing my career. I still came up to that. What's the next step? Why aren't people hiring me? I've got this generalist experience. Now I need to get into something better. It just wasn't there. It seemed like the middle of my career was non-existent. So I had that early career at a later age than most people. And then there was nothing. You know, it's hard to deal with the fact that there's no middle career for you. So in order to put a little money in my pocket, I started my own consulting business. I was doing this while I was still looking for the full-time work. And over the last 5 years, it's turned into something bigger. Now I'm doing the HR consulting on my own. Although consulting business, it is very up and down. And sometimes if you don't have that middle career that I didn't have, your clients have trouble thinking, should I purchase services from this person? So I've had a very up and down consulting business. But during this time, this journey I was on since I was 30, I've discovered that my Indigenous background can be an asset. Along with my wife, I facilitate what's called the KAIROS Blanket Exercise. And that's a participatory history lesson of the last 500 years of North America and Canada to teach the history of Indigenous people and the major issues that have happened and continue to happen. I also do speaking engagements or workshops on multiple different Indigenous topics to help non-Indigenous organizations with their reconciliation and getting to that point where they can say, yes, we've done our work for the TRC call to action number 92, which is for businesses. So it's interesting that I've expanded this HR business into the Indigenous EDI consulting, the equity, diversity, and inclusion work I'm finding is very important to me. And I hope to do a lot more because I feel at home when I do that sort of thing. In this particular case, as the old saying goes, my problem has become my strength, or my problem is my cure. I lived racism, however, how subtle it was through my early life and my early career. Now it's become my strength as part of my HR. I hope to bring that to my clients. As always, if you've made it this far, I thank you very much. Please like this video, subscribe if you like what I talk about, and comment. If you have follow-up questions, please comment below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks. Bye.